Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, Crazy Lady accuses me of kidnapping my stepson. Tries to kidnap him from me. Entitled neighbor is angry, I am using my park space. I want to kick my entitled cousin out of my parents' house. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Crazy Lady accuses me of kidnapping my stepson. Tries to kidnap him from me. So this happened about a week ago, and I honestly am still fuming from this. I'm not sure if this belongs in this subreddit, but here goes. First, a little backstory. I'm a mixed ethnicity individual. I've been confused for many races over the course of my 29 years on this planet, but I'm literally Caucasian and African American. Usually it can be figured out, but the difference with me is my father is the Caucasian, so therefore my hair is straight. I'm originally from Texas and am usually confused for being Mexican. But now I live in Massachusetts and I've never had an issue with anyone concerning my race, until this day. Also, I am married to a Caucasian woman who had a child before we were married. His father is not in his life as much, and I took the responsibility because I love this woman and I love this little boy as if he were my own. He's 4 now and I've been in his life since he was 1. Anyways, on to the story. My wife needed a few things from the grocery store and she needed to run a few more errands, and usually she just goes and knocks things out herself because I'm sleep, I work nights, but this particular day I happened to be awake and I offered to go for her. She works hard and does a lot, so I definitely felt it was necessary to do something for her so she could just relax for the day. I took my son with me so she could rest up and just take it easy, and it gave me time to spend with my son for some bonding. We completed all of the errands, which went smoothly, and then headed to the grocery store to finish up our day. My son, being a typical 4-year-old, was full of energy, running ahead of me, laughing and speaking to everyone he comes across, which I generally don't mind as long as he doesn't hit anyone and stays within eye view. As I'm making my way down an aisle looking for canned corn, my son jogs to the end of it when an older lady is entering at the other end. My son, being the sweet social butterfly he is, approached and exclaims an excited "Hi. Me 4 and me Ryan." Bless his little heart. The lady looked down and says, "Well, hello there. You shouldn't be running around unattended, let's go find your parents." I didn't think anything of her statement because I assumed she just hadn't seen me. "Ryan. Come back here, bud, please." He excitedly runs back toward me and starts turning in circles because, he's 4, lol. I'm still searching the shelves as the lady walks past me and stops behind me. Again, I think nothing of it because it's a grocery store and you have to share the aisles. I turn my basket around and start to walk toward the front cash registers when this lady literally blocks my path. I say excuse me and try to walk around her, and she moves her cart in front of me again. I honestly thought she was just getting confused and said excuse me once again and tried one more time to go around, and she just blocks my path. The following convo ensues. Me, "I'm sorry about that, we'll get out of your way." Lady, "Oh, I don't think so. You're not going anywhere with that child." Me, "You mean my son?" Lady, "That's not your child. He's white. And you're Mexican. You probably didn't even know his name until he said it to me." Me, "Sure, whatever, lady, can you just move? My wife is at home and anxiously awaiting for us." Lady, "Stop your lies. You're not taking him anywhere, you pervert." This whole time my son is standing close to me holding my leg because he was honestly getting scared. I was getting angry because I hadn't had much sleep and I have a short fuse anyway, thanks Dad. Me, "As you can see, he's standing close to me because he trusts me and you're scaring him, so how about you buzz off?" Lady, "No. He's scared because of you. He just doesn't know how to express it yet." She looks at my son. Lady, "Come on now, sweetie, I'm here to rescue you. Come with me." Thankfully, my son was able to communicate to her he wasn't going anywhere with her. But she was having none of it. She literally grabbed my son and began to run. It caught me off guard because I honestly could not fathom what was actually happening. My son starts screaming loudly because he was so scared, and this lady is just like, "Don't worry, sweetie, he won't hurt you, I promise." Suddenly I snap back into reality and I begin to chase after this crazy wench. While running through the store, I yell for people to stop her and that she's kidnapping my son, and thankfully a worker stops her before she makes the exit. "Lady, why are you stopping me? This Mexican here is trying to kidnap my grandson." My son literally is bawling his eyes out and extending his arms out calling for me. This lady was relentless and would not let go until my son, even after he slaps her face multiple times. I laughed a little, not gonna lie. At this point a manager shows up and asks what's going on. The lady spoke before me. "Lady, this," pointing at me, "pervert is trying to kidnap my grandson and I was just trying to escape." "Me, that's my son, you freaking psycho. Now let him go." The manager didn't know what to believe. I don't blame him, he was caught in a weird situation. So I pulled out my phone and showed him pictures of me and my son that dated a year or so back as proof. This lady still would not give up and accused me of faking them. Like, how would you do that exactly? I'll never know, but whatever. Sadly, there were two other ladies there taking the psycho's side and said I was attempting to kidnap my own son because there was no way we were family because of our different skin tones. One even called the police, which I was actually happy about because I knew they'd be able to review the security cameras. Even still, I called my wife to see if she could come to the store to get this situation cleared up quicker. As soon as I told her what was going on, she zoomed to the store. She got there about the same time as the police. The crazy ladies were giving their statement to the cops when my wife walked in. As soon as she walked in, my son goes, "Mama, help." My wife is a true mama bear and she immediately flew into a rage when she saw this lady holding my son. "Wife, let him go now." "Lady, sorry sweetie, I was just trying to protect him from this pervert over here." Lady 2, "Yeah, we saw him trying to kidnap him, but this lady saved him." The cop looks at the lady and is confused. "Officer, I thought this was your grandson?" Wife, "I have no idea who that lady is." She takes out her phone and shows the officer a picture of my mother-in-law. Lady, "Okay, I'm sorry, he's not my grandson, but I was only trying to protect him from this dirty pervert over here." Lady 2, "Yeah, I witnessed the whole thing. He snatched that child and tried to run away with him, but this lady stopped it." Lady 3, "Yes, I saw it too. He needs to be arrested. And you," pointing to my wife, "should be thankful that this lady was here to save your son because you obviously just let him loose wherever." Wife, "Who are you talking about again?" All three crazy ladies pointed at me. Wife, "Oh, you mean my husband?" Lady 1, "Husband?" Wife, "Yeah, who do you think called me and got me here so fast?" I presented my ID to the officer and the manager, and my wife did the same. We also each showed pictures of us on our phones to prove we were really a family. The cop nodded in approval and handed us our phones back and jotted down a few notes. The three ladies for some reason still kept trying to say this was all fake and my wife was in on the kidnapping and said we needed to be arrested. My wife lost it at this point and let off some colorful words I won't repeat here, but she definitely got her point across. Then the nail in the coffin came for the psycho trio. The office turned to the manager and asks, "Officer, sir, do the cameras work here?" Manager, "Yes, we have them inside and out." Officer, "Okay, great, let's go review." The three ladies' faces went pale. Like ghostly pale. The officer reviewed the outside camera as I pulled into the parking lot and saw me take my son out of my car, and then as I went up and down the aisles, and most importantly, the instance the woman snatched up my son and began to run. Upon his return he asks, "Officer, would you like to press charges?" Lady 1, "Yes, I would." Officer, Why would I be asking you that question? Shut your mouth and sit down. He turns to me and repeats the question. Me, absolutely. Lady 1 was charged with attempted kidnapping, false imprisonment, providing a false police report, and child endangerment. The other two were also charged with providing a false police report as well. To make matters worse for Lady 1, my son bruises easily and she left some terrible spots on him from where she was grasping him, but he's fine. This added a charge of child abuse to her rap sheet. I have court later this year, but I'm not sure when because of COVID. The officer will be following up with me in a few weeks. Sorry for the length. Oh God. At least these women are getting the punishment they deserve for harassing you and your son. Please keep us updated as this keeps going. Yes, thank goodness you pressed charges, OP. I always hate getting to the end of the story and seeing people decline. This is how you stop the entitlement. These old biddies probably never had to answer to anyone like that before. So, you're going to love this. Me and my two younger brothers are super white and adopted by Hispanic Native American parents. This kind of stuff used to happen to us often. I can't express how many times I got asked if I was okay as a kid. Or where my parents were. Also, people are racist as at. My parents would have so many bad things happen to them. Like they would be ignored, but people would take my order. Or they would be questioned. Or they would be pushed aside when I walked up to stand next to them. I just want you to know that I totally understand where you are coming from and it sucks. Unfortunately, we didn't have camera phones then to prove who was who. My dad happened to be a sheriff deputy though. So that helped. LOL, such big fat idiots. Don't listen to them, after all, stupidity can be contagious. Do you think this was a ruse to actually kidnap your son? This is just crazy. And the fact she was trying to leave and say it was her grandson. Did the other ladies know her? Seems to me that it might have been more a kidnap attempt and less of an EP. Honestly, I didn't even think of that. It may have been. Because the other two conveniently kept chiming in. Ugh, but I'm glad they all got in trouble. It would be a bit harder to press charges for a conspiracy to commit kidnapping of a minor. I'm Caucasian and my kids are Chinese. I was accused by a customs inspector of child trafficking, despite having all the paperwork with me. Weirdly, that's only happened that one time. My oldest, 18F, has informed me that it's only happened once because of white privilege. Sadly, I can't disagree. Glad you pressed charges against those women. I hope your son is okay. My husband is Mexican, very dark, I am very pale white. Our oldest daughter is as dark as him, our son is as light as me. I am not worried about someone mistaking me for not being my daughter's mother or even saying anything about it. I am worried about the day someone questions him when he is out with our son. I hope the courts throw the book at her. Is your son alright? Any lingering PTSD from it all? Well, my son is afraid to go to that particular store at the moment. But other than that, he's doing okay. Thank you. OMG, this reminds me an old college friend who was a non-traditional student. His grandfather was full Lakota, Sioux. He took after his grandma's side, red hair and pale skin. He had a daughter that looks full Native American. You wouldn't believe some of the situations he and his wife had to deal with. That's really scary. That lady is an ignorant bigot. Sorry that happened to you. I think she's going away for quite some time, several years at least. Hopefully she'll get some karma and get put with a woman that's of mixed race and she'll learn a thing or two. Entitled neighbor is angry, I am using my park space. My 30th husband 27M and I live in a closed street of small houses. Each house has a parking spot, plus most people owning more than one car park in parallel in front of their house. We didn't own a car because we both worked from home and hate driving, plus public transport here is not so bad. We have a neighbor who owns 3 cars, so obviously he has no space to park them all at his house. He asked our next door neighbor, we can call him Ian, if he could park outside of her house. She also does not drive, and she said yes, but Ian, in order to not block his other car, parks all the way in front of my driveway. TBH, I would not have minded if he had asked, but the fact that he just does it annoys me. Also, my family comes to visit often, and if they come by car, he usually is blocking and we have to ask him to move, and every time he gets mad as if we were asking for a favor. Anyway, I got a nice promotion that involved in-person work 3 times a week, so we decided it was time to get a car. We bought a nice practical one and got it in our park space. Well, next morning the guy was blocking my exit. I rang his doorbell like crazy. It was 6 a.m., and when he finally came out I asked him to move and to not park there anymore. He got defensive and said that my neighbor let him park in front of her house, to what I answered yes, but this is my house, and if you block my entrance again I'm gonna remove your car. He moves and the next day he is blocking again. We realize he left the car open, so we let the handbrake loose and pushed the car to the middle of the street, in front of his driveway. I put a note on his windshield saying next time it's a tow truck, put tape over his doorbell so it continues ringing, and I left as quickly as I could. He hasn't said anything, but he hasn't parked there anymore. You are a bot $. Nice response, which clearly worked. I thought it had been a little too much, but I'm glad I did it, huh? That is awesome. Way to handle the problem. He will think long and hard before blocking your driveway again. I'm so impressed. Please, mentor me in the way of petty, but well-earned, maliciousness. I want to kick my entitled cousin out of my parents' house. So I, 23F, am just about to crack and tell my cousin that she needs to get the hell out of my parents' vacation home in Florida. My cousin, 28F, is staying in my parents' vacation house in Florida. It's a large house that my parents, Moma 54 and Mom B 49, have poured the better part of $1 million into decorating, refurnishing, and making into their retirement home. My name is also on the deed as I help pay the mortgage, and my brother is no longer alive. He died in the Middle East while serving our country. I moved back in with my parents about 2 years ago, right after getting injured while deployed in Berlin. Because I suffered a traumatic brain injury and had a long recovery, I had to retrain muscles to respond in the correct way. All better now. So I've been here for the whole house renovation and seen the entitlement of my mother's family firsthand. So my cousin, Sierra, traveled down there for what was supposed to be 4 weeks to complete a short flight attendant training program. 4 weeks. It's been 9. We have security cameras in the house, and I insisted that we turn all of the inside ones off to give my cousin privacy. If I were her, I wouldn't want to be watched either. I almost never check them, but they record 24 hours a day. The only 4 we kept on are the front door, driveway, backyard, and garage. We can see her car in the driveway. My parents keep a couple of sports cars in the garage, as well as a boat. Sierra threw an absolute fit when we told her she had to drive her own car, because my mama wasn't about to let her use the cars that she and I fixed up during my recovery. Repairing engine parts and putting in new parts helped me get full function in my hands and arms back. One is a 1975 Chevy that I own. She begged me to let her use it. I said no. Using the security cameras, I have seen that her car almost never leaves the driveway, except at night, where she has brought back multiple men at night. One of the conditions of her being allowed to stay in our house for free was no guests. So I know for a fact she isn't going to her internship, because she once went 4 days without leave on weekdays. When she claims she is working Monday to Friday. Last week, I drove the 700 miles in a rage from North Carolina because I saw on the camera footage that I hadn't checked for a couple weeks that she had been using my 1975 Chevy. I used my keys to enter my house and nearly lost it. She claims to work Mondays, and instead I found her lounging in the pool that I helped to dig and build. She flew into a rage, asking, "What are you doing here? You didn't tell me you were going to visit." I responded, "Funny, I can't visit a house that I own. Pretty sure that you're the visitor. Also, why the hell are you using my car? I found out she moved all the furniture out of my room, flat screen, dresser, gaming system, even my freaking bedding. Going to make a part 2. Running out of characters. Edit, since a commenter decided to reveal some personal information about me, I actually live in Cali, and flew to Florida. I was trying to keep certain details confidential so nothing could be traced back to my family. This is an anonymous platform for a reason. Yes, I struggle with alcoholism. Yes, I have a lot of issues with my family. But to this reply, don't threaten me, my service history, or me trying to make the best of things by finding help online, ever again. I use this platform because it's safe. People like you make it unsafe. She needs to be gone yesterday. This. Get her out of there. She's using your stuff, moving your stuff, and who knows what else. Evict her if you have to. Turn all the cameras back on so you can show everyone she is just a AH who is scamming your moms. Whoa. First, we don't care, respectfully, if you're alcoholic, military, have an OnlyFans, are 50, like to tap dance with an elephant and 2 giraffes or whatever else. And saw your comment about DMing you, please do not give out your info. Report the person that's trying to dox you. Second. What an absolute parasite. If I was in us, I'd volunteer to help evict her. Sadly, I'm not, so I'm just waiting here for part 2, annoyed on your behalf. Tap dance with an elephant took me out. I have a very good imagination. You know, I actually stopped tap dancing with elephants a couple years back. Just wasn't my cup of tea. Thank you for your offer to help though. You made me laugh and I appreciate that a lot. Wait. Someone is trying to hold your self-medicating against you? What a POS. I served and have my own issues that only other women who went through it fully comprehend. Using alcohol to cope is not new and only a fool would try to shame a veteran who is self-aware. That's not right, it has nothing to do with your cousin squatting. Thank you for all the sacrifices you made for our country. I'm angry for you. Your cousin is clearly abusing your family's hospitality/generosity. She needs to leave the house ASAP. Take all her stuff. Pack it up in her car and dive it off the property. She can claim she lives there. Bug unless she has documentation. You can say she is trespassing. Legally? I don't care. Most cops don't really care about domestic stuff. I mean, many do their jobs. Most are mad about domestic/civil stuff. Whereas she is trespassing. If she kicks up as fuss, I'd threaten her with grand theft of your car. Don't threaten, just do it. Tell the trash human being that you are filing charges for grand theft auto. Congratulations, enjoy jail. FAFO. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.